Hi there, this is Shrikant Dasari. So in this lesson, we are going to learn about how to grab the input, a Boolean input from the keyboard. Okay, so in the last four lessons, we have learned how to grab integer input, floating point constants input from the keyboard, and character, single character input, and string input, respectively. In the last four lessons, so now we are going to focus on how to grab a Boolean input, okay, using the function or method known as next Boolean here. Okay, so let me launch the IDE. So we know that we are using a NetBeans 8.02. I'm creating a new project here, Java application. So let me name the project as Boolean input. Okay. So we know that NetBeans creates a blank Java template or a jump Java template with the default code. I have just got rid of everything and I'm just adding the basic code here. I remember I have given the name of the project as Boolean input. Okay. So semicolon. So we need to import the most necessary Java package for our lesson, java.util. Okay. So and then we have so we need to define the class definition here. So the class definition goes like this: public Boolean, so public class Boolean input. Okay. So Boolean input. Okay. So within that, we need to have our main function public static. So public static void main. So the contemporary string asks for handling the command line arguments if there are any. Okay. So we have the very basic Java code here. Okay. So we haven't started anything. Okay. So to demonstrate how to grab Boolean input from the keyboard. So first let's take a Boolean variable here. So let's say Boolean bool. Okay. So or else let's say bool1. So I have taken a variable Boolean as soon as we did in the last lessons. I am just creating an object for our scanner class. So we need to create an object for the scanner class for the very beginning here. Okay. So scanner in is equal to new scanner system.in. Okay. So here we have created an object for the scanner class here. Okay. So java.util. So silly mistake I have done here in the above. Scanner in is equal to new scanner dot system. Okay. So this creates a new object for our scanner class. So using that object, we can use. Using that scanner object, we have a method known as next boolean. Okay. So this is the method which is used to grab the input from the user. Okay, so we have taken the variable name as bool1 here. So that's the reason it's showing as an error, ugly error here. Okay. So now what happens here is whatever you give through the input, the scanner scans the input and converts it into a Boolean value. So obviously it expects you to give some Boolean value like either true or false. You have only two kinds of variants in Boolean input. Okay. So now let's have a message. Before that, we need to have a message here. So it says that system.out.println. So let's say print. Okay. So it's also now always nice practice when you're using these kind of things. Now let's say enter some Boolean value. Okay. So whatever the message you want, you can give it to it. Okay. So enter some Boolean value and you have a bool function bool next dot in dot next Boolean here, okay, which grabs the Boolean value. So if you want, you can have again yet again another system.out.println statement to just print it out. So whatever you have given there. Okay. So now the Boolean value entered is equal to. So you can use your concatenation operator and you can use that Boolean variable here. Okay. So what happens here is you have taken a Boolean bool variable and you have just grabbed the input using this next dot Boolean here. Okay. So next dot Boolean method which is defined in our scanner class here. Okay. So I have just taken a simple Boolean variable, grabbed some input through it using the scanner class object in and using this method next Boolean here. Okay. So if you run this function until now, so what happens here is It asks for some Boolean value, so you're bound to give some sort of Boolean value like true or false. If you run it once again, so you're allowed to give only two values here, true, either true or false. Okay, so if you give any crazy values, you might fall in trouble here. Okay, so it will not accept automatically the exceptional thread exception fires, and you're devastated with all the errors here. Okay, so you're supposed to give any Boolean value. So how in the world you think that this kind of Boolean values are going to help us? So if you're building a small simple game of true or false, a quiz kind of thing, a quiz kind of application, so in that case you might have, if you're asking a question to a user like whether the sun rises in the east or west or some silly questions like that, if the user has only two options like true or false, so in that case we can use this Boolean values here. Okay, so now so here to demonstrate that small use, I am taking another Boolean variable. Let me say it as Boolean bool2. So let me put some question here, like a small silly sounding game. So system.out.println, so let's say sun rises. So I'm just asking a question, sun rises in the east. Okay, so you have two options here. The user can say true or false. Okay, some kind of that that kind of question, true or false question here. Okay, so now you can use your again scanner object just to scan the Boolean value here. Okay, so bool2 is equal to int dot next Boolean. Okay, so whatever the object, so whatever the user gives, grabs the input is stored in your bool2 variable. So now you can use your conditional statement if okay. So we will study about the conditional statements in depth in the subsequent lessons. So for the time being, so if you are coming from the C background or something like that, or if you don't have any idea about the if condition, also you need not worry. So if condition is a kind of thing which whether it's true, it executes some kind of logic. If it's not, it skips that if condition and goes to the else block here. Okay, so for that purpose, if you are from C background, this should not be a trouble using if condition here. Okay, so if I'm saying here if bool 2, so if the user says it's sun rises in the east, it's true. So then you can have another message here, system dot so out dot println. So you can say something like this, you're right. So you're right, or you can say comma you won, something like this. Okay, some stupid silly message you can keep there. Okay, so this is a small kind of silly game here. Okay, so if it's not right, so if the user says something else than true, if it gives, sorry, if he says the false answer, so if he says false, then it's ultimately the control jumps to the so else block here. So here you can have another message, system dot out dot println. You can say something like this, like you lost, or else you can say you are wrong, comma you lost. So some sort of message, whatever you wanted here. Okay, so in this way you can build a small kind of silly games using your question and answers kind of quiz kind of things here. Okay, so now if you run your this tiny little program once again, first initially it asks for us some kind of Boolean value, so then it asks for if sun rises in the east, it's true or false. So if you say it's true, you write your one. Okay, so what happens if you give false here? Okay, so if you say, so for the very first time it's asked for false, let's give it false, whatever it wanted. So sun rises in the east, so let's say false here. Okay, so you are wrong, you lost it. Okay, so in that so if you're using so how in the world if you think that your Boolean variables or Boolean values is going to help you, so you can build some kind of interesting games or console applications. You can embed your logic with the Boolean input here. Okay, so this is the basic stuff about so how to grab a Boolean input using your scanner object, scanner class object in, and the next Boolean function here. Okay, Okay, so this is the basic stuff about so how to play around with the boolean values to grab the input in the boolean form or boolean input from the keyboard. So if you like the video, hope it helps you in your understanding. Give a thumbs up and feel free to comment about so how the video how do you like the video in the form of comments in YouTube. Okay, so see you in the next lesson. Goodbye.